All right, guys, welcome back to Total Disclosure. I'm super happy today. I'm joined by one of my good friends, colleagues in the field, and he's got something in the works that I'm sure all of our listeners are going to want to be a part of. So we're going to get into all that today with Vinnie from Disclosure Team. But as you know, before housekeeping, and today's video is brought to you by BioMind. It is a all natural, no caffeine added supplement that uses lion's mane, performance mushrooms, and other great stuff that induces nootropic health. And just it's changed my life, given me a clarity that I've never had before. The links for that will be in the description below. Get 25% off now while you can, using our link. Like I said, it'll be in the description below. If you want to help support the channel, become a member, pay what you want. You get a yearly gift, early access to content like this interview, behind the scenes stuff, and all that jazz. So with that being said, let's get this party started. Welcome, Vinnie. Welcome.
Hey, good to see you, Ty. How you doing, man?
No, I had a couple of fumbles on the intro there.
Hey, I do
But
all the time.
yeah, it's right now, as you know, as we're recording this, that Peruvian mummy conference is going on. So I'm also like, keep my eye on that, and also, it's a big. A lot of stuff's been happening in the UFO world lately. It seems like it's all like dropping at once. Do you find that to be convenience, or is everyone just like, let's capitalize on the timing?
Yeah, I don't think it's planned or anything. I think it just these things come around and they overlap, or there's things happening all at once. It's just coincidental, in my opinion. I try not to get too conspiratorial when things, maybe sort of look like they're coming from a certain planned direction. I just see it as it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. And honestly, if you don't mind, what do you think of these, of those mummies, of that whole scenario? Because it's not the first time they've been rolled out. People forget that this is something that was rolled out years ago as well. I think, I can't remember exactly, but Jaime Maussan seems to be deeply involved in this, and as we know, sometimes Jaime's quick to put things out. So what's your perspective on all of it?
Yeah, Jaime Maussan doesn't have the greatest track record with these types of things. I mean, we saw something similar at the was it the Mexican Congress back in September? Yeah, and they rolled out these bodies, claiming to have had some scientific analysis done on them back at the time. But with anything like this, it's better for them to sort of get the work done behind the scenes, get it even peer reviewed, get some multiple scientists from separate places to put, to corroborate these bodies wherever they are, whatever they come from, because they unveil them claiming they're alien mummies, but then 2 months down the line we've got other scientists refuting the data, and it just seems to be this ever revolving,
back and forth of.
I struggle to take it seriously. I mean, I keep my eye on what's happening just out of curiosity,
Yeah,
more
of
than
course.
anything, but it's just, I'm always just geared up to be let down yet again by anything that Jaime Maussan touches.
And you know what? Like, I hate to even say that, because, when Marco Leal, he's a great friend of mine, and often I'll be talking to him, and I'm just like, Jaime has an audience like Tucker Carlson has here, in Brazil, and a lot of people in South America think that he is a leading expert, and that he's truthful in what he does and says, and he's only presenting the facts, and like there's a lot of people in South America that just don't see through it, and they take him as an expert, and it's like, guys, like, yeah, I mean, he's arguably the biggest name out of Brazil, out of South America, as
Yeah,
far as
absolutely.
UFOs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, look, it's good that he's bringing the conversation to a mass audience. I put my hands up and say that's a great thing, but that's the thing is that people will see him as the expert, like you mentioned, and just believe everything he says. They won't go and do any follow up research or anything, and why should
right.
they? They probably got busy lives, and this is just
Yeah.
something that they keep an eye on. So I get it, but it doesn't make us look good when we're really trying to dig down to the actual truth of what's happening.
Right. And then, a month later you end up with a headline like, you know, alien bodies found to be chicken bone and other, weird stuff like stapled together. And it's just like, oh God. Cause and that's like the part of me that it honestly frustrates me. Like this phenomenon, what we have going on here right as we speak right now, there's an agenda that's being played out. The phenomenon is strange enough. We don't need to hoax. It's strange enough. Like the real stuff is there. It's and I get it. Like content creators need to content create, but let's focus on that percentage that will advance the conversation. And your conference is a great it's a great new thing that's evolving, where like the Saul Foundation, where you had leading scientists, researchers, people that are very serious about this topic, giving lectures and being open and transparent about what they're doing to advance the topic. So, who are some of the people that you have lined up to speak?
Yeah, so just before I list some people, what I wanted to do was put together a virtual event where people can come and hang out, on Zoom. It's all through Zoom, but hang out in the same room as these speakers,
Right.
and I've been involved in one of these before. This is all under Richard Dolan's Upgrade the Debate event series, and they're a really great way of being a bit more interactive with these kind of things. And so I wanted to put something together that focuses on research, but not just as a UFO researcher. I wanted to get people on the journalistic side of things, the scientific and academic side of things, and kind of put it all together and really focus on that and give them a platform. So I guess I started off, I wanted the science thing. So straight away I contacted Avi Loeb. I've got a good friendship with Avi. So, he graciously accepted. And then Beatrice Villarreal was someone who I spoke to recently on my show. And I think she's great. So I wanted her there. So those are two real stand-up scientists. And then obviously Christopher Sharp at the Liberation Times, his journalistic integrity. I think he does a fantastic work. So I invited Chris to come along to talk more about, what he does and how he does it. We're going to be doing a Q&A with Chris so people can really ask the questions that they want to ask to Chris. Chris has got some fantastic sources out there that he kind of gets these scoops all the time. So we're going to dig into that. And then my good friend Carl Andreasen, Carl the Crusher, as people may know him. He's done a lot of boots on the ground work at primarily at
Mount Wilson Ranch, right?
Yeah, so he's actually going to be at Mount Wilson at the event. He's going to come in live from Mount Wilson, give everyone a live on the ground tour, answer questions, talk about the latest on his investigation. So that's something a little bit different again.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so really, really happy with that. So yeah, live
from Mount Wilson Ranch, man.
Yeah, so I mean that'll be fun
because that's on par with Skinwalker. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. There's clearly something going on in at these, I guess, what we call them in the UFO communities, hotspots, right? So there's these spots, and it, obviously. Everyone's like, oh, why is it always a ranch? Or like, well, it's in this case, it just so happens to be, a ranch as well, but it's not always a ranch. In this case, yes, but not in, in a lot of cases. So, this specific ranch, because I've had Carl on the show as well. He's a good friend, good friend of the show, and what he's been doing is amazing. That's awesome. What a unique thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then I've got Danny Sheehan, who's going to be giving a presentation. You know, Danny's, right at the forefront of a lot of what's happening on Capitol Hill right now. He's speaking with, the committees on both sides. So I wanted to bring all of these different people from slightly different areas of the subject together to give the attendees there something, a whole weekend of just really interesting information and opportunities to ask their questions and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a lot of work putting it together, a lot more than I anticipated, but I'm working with a great team who do this. This is what they do. They do these event series and that. So I'm really glad that they allowed me to be a part of that and do a disclosure team first conference.
Right. Yeah. No, that's absolutely amazing. And, with Avi Loeb, especially, with his Galileo project, I mean, I'm in Boston, right? So, he's literally, I go to Harvard probably 2 to 4 times a week for my job. And like, there are so many times where I just want to go to like wherever his office is and just knock on the door and be like, "Hey, man, so we're gonna have a sit down conversation." But Avi, with recent developments, like with what David Grush has come out and said, Avi's work is especially interesting because it is it's different. It's not your like what the UFO community would consider juicy, but nonetheless, it's pushing the envelope forward. And can you explain for people who don't know what Avi Loeb is doing with the Galileo project?
Yeah, so he's kind of got a couple of things going on. He recently, I say recently, I think the summer of 2023, he did this Pacific Ocean expedition to find traces of this meteorite, which, they found these very small spherules, and they've had them analyzed, and they believe them to be something from outside of our solar system. That's really exciting stuff. But with the Galileo project itself, they have these sensor systems that they did start off by placing them on the roof of the university at Harvard there. But I think they've actually expanded to some external locations as well, some hotspots. There's not been a lot of information put out yet, and this is the thing with Avi, he's coming at this from a no-nonsense scientific point of view. It has the potential in the long term to really get some interesting results. But, I think the problem that I see a lot is that people are always just want something every single day. They want that new piece of juicy information. I get that. But we can't always just expect it. And I think what Avi's doing, he's looking far out into the solar system. He's looking at near Earth objects as well. And, with this equipment that they're investing in and putting up, we could certainly get some very, very good data further down the road.
Right. And so what I always said was that disclosure, what we've wanted in the UFO community for years is actual science, right? Rigorous science. Well, guess what, guys? Science is slow. It's very slow. So we've been begging for it, and now that we have it, we're like, come on. And it's like, guys, can't rush these things, because when we rush, we get Peruvian mummies, chicken bone mummies, right? So, like, yes, science is slow, but look at like things like the James Webb Space Telescope. Recently, they had this. I don't know if you saw it, but it was kind of like a briefing that was sent out about whoever the first astronomer would be to find alien life, like a signature of alien life. How it would affect them and their family, and like how they would become, instantly, famous, and what it would do to their mental state, all this kind of weird stuff. And it's like, are they preparing us for something? Because I've said for a while that it seems like dominoes are being tipped over slowly, but it seems to be leading somewhere. And maybe you can give some insight. Do you think